This is The Scoop for Thursday.
I'm Lisa Marzilli with the WMNF News headlines. A new study reveals that Florida has the 9th highest percentage of fatal hit-and-run crashes in the U.S. WMNF's Chris Young has details.
A Connecticut law firm analyzed data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration between 2019 and 2023. California ranked first and Nevada ranked second. Florida came in 9th, reporting 1,260 hit-and-run fatalities out of 16,000 total fatal crashes between 2019 and 2023. It's the law to stay at the scene and call for help if you're involved in a crash. According to Florida Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, drivers could face up to 60 days in prison and a second-degree misdemeanor if you flee the scene. If there's a fatality, it's a first-degree felony with a mandatory minimum of 4 years in prison. Maine had the lowest percentage of hit-and-run fatalities in the country, with only 0.6% of fatal crashes in the state involving a driver who fled the scene. Chris Young, WMNF News.
The Florida legislature is advancing a controversial bill that would create a Charlie Kirk Day of Remembrance. WMNF's Leah Burdick reports emotions ran high during the bill's first committee stop Tuesday.
Republican Senator Jonathan Martin says SB 194 would designate October 14th as a day of remembrance in Florida for Charlie Kirk's work and contributions.
His work to help build a movement of young leaders who are active in promoting limited government, free speech, and American values. He motivated an entire generation to get involved, ask questions, and learn to defend the principles that make our country strong.
Martin told the Senate Committee on Governmental Oversight and Accountability that Kirk encouraged people to debate. There were supporters who agreed, but others strongly disagreed, like Democrat Senator Bracy Davis.
He is known historically and nationally for minimizing racism and denying systemic discrimination, attacking communities of color and LGBTQ plus youth, spreading misinformation about elections and public health, and using rhetoric that divides Floridians rather than unites us. Elevating a figure with this record raises questions and concerns about the values we choose to honor.
She says Kirk has no meaningful ties to Florida and should not have a day of remembrance. Kirk was shot and killed in September. The bill advanced with a 5-2 vote. For WMNF News, I'm Leah Burdick.
The Hillsborough County School Board is pushing back on a controversial new law that allows some charter schools known as Schools of Hope to move into underused district spaces. The law, passed on the last day of last year's legislative session, says that any school that opens below capacity can be targeted for space by a School of Hope operator, not just failing schools. However, the law doesn't square with comments made by Governor Ron DeSantis yesterday when he was asked about Schools of Hope at his press conference in Orlando.
You know, I'm hearing places in some of these more affluent areas complaining, you ain't going to have Schools of Hope there. It isn't going to affect you. We're going to go in areas where kids need a lifeline. It is going to be targeted at going teenage students. And in areas where a lot of people say it's not even worth trying, right? Probably Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, probably Orlando, maybe Tampa, maybe Jacksonville.
In addition to free buildings, districts must give the charters free maintenance, free food service, and free transportation. And districts have almost no way to say no. The Tampa Bay Times reports the Hillsborough County School Board passed a proclamation asking the legislature to require Schools of Hope to pay the school district for services utilized. It also calls for the state to define terms, including underutilized, underused, and excess seats. The 5-1 vote came less than a week after Education Commissioner Anastasios Kamousas was booed in Tampa while telling an audience of school board members that they were being put on notice and that the state could shut down districts over the issue. It's going to be mostly sunny with a high of 68 degrees today. Lows tonight will be in the upper 40s and mostly sunny with a high of 72 on Friday. I'm Lisa Marzilli with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop,
Recorded at WMNF Tampa.